Hello guys, this is Alan recording another comprehensive draft video. Today we are going to revisit my first set that ever introduced me to MTG, that being Guilds Ravnica. Without it, I don't think I would have gotten into draft or limited for the most part. This is the set that introduced me digitally to Magic the Gathering, and Ravnica Allegiance was when I started drafting on paper and playing on paper. But for now, I'm happy revisiting this old set, do some nice throwback, play some nice throwback cards, guilds, and whatnot, and yeah, seems really fun. Let's begin. Alright, so let's see here. Pack one, pick one. What is our rare? Pretty powerful removal spell, being Assassin's Trophy. Definitely a card that you are looking to play in Golgari. It's definitely splashable, of course, in Selesnya, and of course Dimir. Pretty nice to destroy any target permanents such as planeswalkers, enchantment-based removal spells, of course creatures. It does help the opponent ramp, of course, but for the most part, the fact that it can destroy any permanent is just incredibly powerful. And it's also instant speed, so you can definitely blow out combat tricks. Not the most flexible card to begin with, but definitely very powerful. And even with 2 mana, one being black and one being green, I can definitely see this being splashed in Dimir and Selesnya. So it does have a little bit of flexibility, but it is definitely a more Golgari flavored card since it puts us into 2 colors right away. Other excellent uncommons, they're all pretty good. Nightvale Predator is an excellent Dimir card. Flying Death Touch and Hexproof is incredibly powerful. Pretty hard creature to deal with, pretty difficult creature to remove. The opponent needs another Dree powered blocker in order to trade off for it. The only way I can actually see you killing this is of course trading off for it or countering it. So definitely a solid card that one wouldn't mind taking in the pack and forcing into the mirror. There's also Integrity Intervention, which is a great card to play in Boros. Definitely a fine removal spell, also quite splashable. Instant speed is really nice. 1 mana giving a creature +2/+2 is just like a Take Heart, I guess. So it's a Take Heart and a deal 3 damage instant speed at 4 mana. So quite flexible, quite powerful. There's Conclave Cavalier, which is great. Double green, double white. 4/4 Vigilance is really powerful, and then creating 2/2 bodies is really nice. Looking at our commons, which ones stand out? Deadly Visit as an excellent removal spell, keeps us in black, keeps us flexible. Definitely a powerful card overall, destroying a creature, surveilling 2. So it's really between these 5 cards. And if we're going to choose the most flexible picks, I guess it's just the removal spells. Assassin Trophy is definitely splashable. Integrity Intervention is splashable, but you mostly want to play this in Boros due to the fact that you're looking to deal face damage sometimes with this, and the pump trick is to push in some damage and mentor on to help pump a mentor creature to get those triggers going. Deadly Visit is a bit of a slow card, but still very powerful since it can just instantly destroy a creature and surveil 2. It is sorcery speed, so it comes with some complications such as running into a counter spell. The opponent might just bounce the creature back into their hand. So definitely some problems, but a great card overall. I could force myself into the guild right away, but I don't think I want to do that. Overall, I think the most powerful card in this pack overall is just the Assassin's Trophy. It is, of course, Golgari flavored. So it kind of leans us a little bit more towards Golgari with the green and the black, but it's definitely something I wouldn't mind splashing. the difference between this and, of course, Deadly Visit and Integrity Intervention is that it can destroy any permanent. So that's really powerful. It can be used on enchantments, planeswalkers, and creatures, of course. So really, I wouldn't mind picking up this pick one, pack one, and attempting to splash for it. It does fit into 3 guilds, of course, Golgari, Dimir, and Selesnya. Deadly Visits is something you only want to play in either Golgari and Dimir, so it, believe it or not, even as a single color card, it might be a little bit less flexible than Assassin's Trophy and perhaps Integrity Intervention, which can be splashed in Izzet, Selesnya, and definitely in played in Boros. So yeah, wouldn't mind taking Assassin's Trophy. Just a powerful removal spell. Definitely worth it here. Can free a creature from Luminous Bonds and potentially block and catch them off guard. Does help the opponent ramp, but I don't think that's a big deal. So let's take it here. Let's try it out. Followed up with Assassin's Trophy. What else is in this pack? There is a Swiftblade Vindicator as an excellent 2-drop in Boros. Definitely incredibly powerful if you can pump this or give it a Mentor counter. There's Sunhome Stalwart as an excellent card in either Boros and Selesnya. Really big fan of this card, just a really difficult 2-drop to deal with due to its first strike. If you're able to grow this creature and put even more counters on it, it can be incredibly scary. Definitely a more Boros flavored theme card, but playable in Selesnya as well and can be quite powerful. World Soul Colossus is an excellent payoff in Selesnya. Can become a really big creature. Doesn't have trample, however, so it can be chump blocked and doesn't have much evasion. But overall, if you can make a really big creature, the opponent might just be forced to block every turn while this is attacking, and you can threaten them as a late game curve topper. Looking at the commons, which ones stand out? There's Unexplained Disappearance as a decent bounce spell. Their Correct Current as a solid removal spell in Izzet or Boros. So really lots of options that we can go here. I think the most powerful cards in this pack overall, Sunhome Stalwart and Swiftblade Vindicator. Swiftblade Vindicator is definitely not as flexible as a Sunhome Stalwart, so it pretty much forces you into Boros, while Sunhome Stalwart can give us a chance to move into perhaps Selesnya, splashing our first pick, the Assassin's Trophy. I think I prefer it over World Soul Colossus, because, you know, excellent 2-drops are very difficult to find, and Sunhome Stalwart is definitely one of them. Otherwise, like Unexplained Disappearance is a good Dimir card. But overall, the best card in this pack, I think, is Sunhome Stalwart. Can keep us flexible for Boros. Can keep us flexible for Selesnya as well. But overall, this pack is incredibly stacked. And we can potentially splash Assassin's Trophy if we move towards Selesnya, which gives us a more higher incentive to move towards that guild. But you never know. We could be in Boros. And I think this card is slightly worse than Swiftblade Vindicator in Boros, but a great powerful creature nonetheless. So let's take it here. Right, well, I guess we're going to stick to Boros now. We did pass up a Swiftblade Vindicator. Our pick one, pack one, there was an Integrity Intervention that we passed up on for this Assassin's Trophy, but don't think I can say no to a third pick Boros Challenger. Just a very powerful card. 4 mana, you can pump this, make this into a 3/4, then you can attack and mentor into a 2-powered creature. So after we pick this up, I think we're just going to stick with Boros. It's definitely the strongest card in this pack. If I want to remain flexible, perhaps there's a Generous Stray which can gear me towards Selesnya. Like Group of Battle is a Boros card, even though it's single white. So yeah, not going to say no to a Boros Challenger here. Okay, and the Boros cards keep flowing. There's a Goblin Banneret, excellent 1-drop. Just a really threatening card overall in the late game because this is a powerful mana sink. You can give this a 1-drop that you can give a counter to and mentor with cards like Boros Challenger and Sunhome Stalwart. So that seems pretty great. They're great cards. House Dimir could be great if we're still in the black plan of splashing the Assassin's Trophy. But given that we've taken Boros Challenger and Sunhome Stalwart, Goblin Banneret is the obvious pickup here. Wouldn't mind a Sure Strike as a combat trick, maybe Intrusive Pack Beast as a decent curve topper. So yeah, I think I'm just going to put this Assassin's Trophy aside and just move into Boros again. So I guess we're going to have another Guilds of Ravnica Boros draft. And that's how it should be, because this is arguably the best guild. And I think these two cards are the same character. They look similar. Maybe they're not. Who knows? But pretty nice artwork. So let's take up the Goblin Banneret and move on. Right, any great Boros cards here. Not a big fan of Haas the Marshal. A 1-mana 1/1 gets blocked pretty easily, and the ability where at least 2 other creature attacks, like so you need 3 creatures to attack with this, and then it creates a mediocre 1/1 creature of lifelink that ends up getting blocked anyways, and you need to attack with this to trigger it, so it's like a free trade for the opponent. Pretty bad 1-drop. Given that we have 2 mentor creatures, maybe we could consider this and make this into a 2/2 on turn 2. But there should be enough like Hunted Witnesses that we can pick up, or better yet, the Healer's Hawk, which can mentor into Haas the Marshal. That's a better mentor target than Haas the Marshal, given that it has flying and lifelink. That I'm fine maybe passing this up. We have some pretty solid cards for our pack. Wouldn't mind a Sure Strike as a cheap, solid combat trick, which you're looking to play in a very aggressive Boros deck. There's also Command the Storm as quite a powerful, expensive removal curve topper in Boros. But I think I'm leaning towards Sure Strike. You tend to get the first strike, and it's cheap, and we're looking to play very cheap creatures and spells in Boros, so Sure Strike seems to make sense here. I wouldn't mind a Command the Storms, but at 5 mana that's pretty expensive, and Boros is looking usually to play lots of cheap removal spells like Luminous Bonds, perhaps maybe the Justice Strike, Integrity Intervention. So I think Sure Strike makes sense here, and it can help pump our creatures to mentor into, to help mentor onto creature. But you want to use this as a combat trick to surprise the opponent. But some games you might want to main phase it just to mentor onto creature or finish an opponent off. So let's take a Sure Strike here. Now there's a Hunted Witness I talk about. This pack looks pretty bad. Not going to play a 5 mana Lightning Bolt. Not a Lightning Bolt, it can only target creatures, so it's even worse. Wouldn't mind a Righteous Blow as a mini interaction spell. Can play well with our first strikers, of course. Hunted Witness is mediocre, so maybe we play a Righteous Blow. It's not the best removal spell, of course, because 2 damage usually isn't enough, but with enough first strikers, if we grow our creatures, this can be potentially powerful, especially with the Summoning Stalwart and Sure Strike. So we'll see. And would mind Intrusive Pack Beast as a decent curve topper. Ability to tap 2 target creatures in a single turn can be really nice to get a powerful attack in. Otherwise, there's Garrison Sergeant as a gate payoff card in Boros, but it's pretty expensive, and you don't want to play too many gates in Boros. Aggro can be fine if you manage to pick them up anyways, because you don't really want to play too many tap lands in this type of deck. You really want to play a lot of untapped lands and just curve out and beat the opponent. It's pretty straightforward for the most part, and a tapped land can be kind of a liability. And you might, in this type of deck, you might just want 1 or 2, and Garrison Sergeant. Sometimes you don't end up drawing the gate, and this isn't as great. And it doesn't really attack past stuff like a Wishcoin Crab or a Dowser of Lights. It can trade off for them, but at the end of the day, that's still a trade, and it's not that amazing. Hammer Dropper, maybe we could play, but the 2 toughness is pretty bad. And at 4 mana, that's quite expensive. So I think I'm liking the Intrusive Pack Beast as a fine, maybe a finisher at 5, where you can just untap a bunch of stuff from the opponent, put a nice 3/3 Vigilance creature that can potentially get mentored into and squeeze out some damage. So I'm picking it up here. Well, nothing else. Don't think I'm ever playing Torch Courier. Is it Yeah, I don't think we're splashing for Izzet. In Boros, you're not looking to splash for Izzet cards. You can potentially splash for Selesnya cards like Tristani or Camaraderie, because those fit well in a Boros aggro deck with lots of creatures. The Izzet cards aren't looking to play potentially too many creatures. It's looking to play lots of removal and interaction spells and lots of sorceries and instances, so I don't think I would pick this up to splash for Hypothesizzle. By the way, what is there to pick? I guess another Righteous Blow in case we need one. We'll see. Take card I wouldn't mind taking, but there's also Rebel Boar as a decent 4-drop. I do like this card in Boros a lot, since you can put this, you can increase the power of our mentor creatures. They can attack and grow another creature. It makes it easier for them to mentor onto the lesser power creatures without using the abilities as mana sinks. So I'm just liking the Rebel Boar here. Solid 4-drop, 4-mana 3/3 is okay, not the most amazing, but giving a mentor creature +2/+0 seems pretty nice. And I've been quite this card has actually been quite an overperformer. Has a nice 4-drop, so don't mind taking here. Wouldn't mind the Take Heart as well as Combat Trick. Now there's either a Boros Guildgate or a Vernati Shieldmaid. I think I'm leaning towards Vernati Shieldmaid. A 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance is pretty solid. Even with just 1 white, this seems pretty nice to just cast on curve. Getting a Mentor counter on this makes a nice 3/3 Vigilance creature, which can be pretty tough for the opponent to deal with. And in Boros, you do need lots of 2-drops. Wouldn't mind 1-tap Guildgate, but we can always pick up one later. I think the more important cards are Vernati Shieldmates. Make sure we get enough 2-drops in this deck, and we need lots of them, as well as 1-drops. And then our 3-drops and 4-drops can help push them past their limits. So let's take Vernati Shieldmate here. Now maybe, I don't think I'm ever playing Gateway Plaza, even in a Boros deck where we can splash green. I think I'm taking Call of the Culprits for the sideboard, another Intrusive Pack Beast. Maybe we end up playing a second one, who knows. Alright, so looking at our first pack, we do need some work. We do have a really solid base with some powerful 1 and 2 drops, and then some okay cards to fill out to begin starting like a 4-drop. Maybe we could use an extra 5-drop. We do have another Intrusive Back Beast, so we could maybe pick up like a Barging Sergeant. That can be pretty nice. We do have a whole F3 that we need to work on, but overall, we still need some work. We need some removal spells, some more combat tricks, some more 2-drops, but overall, pretty solid Boros space. Hopefully the next pack, we don't have to pass up a Swiftblade Vindicator or a Justice Strike to take a gamble at what we're looking for. So yep, another Boros deck, another Boros draft. Let's proceed. Right, anything Boros for us? Not really. Pretty bad pack for Boros. Charnotro is a good card in Golgari and nothing else. Don't think I'm ever playing Electrostatic Field in a Boros deck. I guess we could maybe be in a Izzet aggro deck. Like we have Sure Strike, Goblin Banneret, and Rebel Boar, but we're getting rid of the rest of our white cards, so that seems kind of bad. I guess Cosmotronic Wave can be a fine finisher in case we need one. Maniacal Rage can potentially grow a creature into given a mentor creature +2/+2, which it can attack and then keep growing our other creatures. So a lot of solid options here. Or we can just take another Vernati Shieldmate as a decent 2-drop, which I wouldn't mind. Pretty unimpressive first pick, like pick 1, pack 1 maybe. I would just choose a Deadly Visit as a flexible card that's can just remove a threat right away. But overall, pretty lackluster choice for Boros in general. I don't think I'm ever playing multiple Maniacal Rages, maybe just one, but we can always pick up these later. They tend to wheel. I guess the Cosmotronic Wave isn't bad as a finisher, but I think I like the Vernati Shieldmate here. Makes another decent, good 2-drop that can gain Vigilance. Pretty nice target for the Banneret to pump up, essentially becoming a 3/3 Vigilance creature. So yeah, let's take it here. Sure up our 2-drop slot. Justice Strike looks excellent. Wouldn't also mind a Blade Instructor. We could play a Barging Sergeant, but I think I would prefer my first 3-drop over it. But Justice Strike just has to be the pick here. Excellent removal spell in Boros. We do need some more interaction in this deck. We could use some more, and this tends to kill a lot of stuff. So let's take it here. Okay, I'm liking this Sky Knight Legionnaire as an excellent 3-drop. Definitely excellent if you can put a mentor counter into it. We currently don't have any 3-drops, so this fits perfectly. Other cards, maybe a Boros Guildgate. Other great cards in this pack are like Raw Harpooner, Watcher and a Miss, Deadweights, but not going to say no to a Sky Knight Legionnaire, so let's take it here. Alright, and there's another one. I think I prefer it over the Fresh Face Recruit just for the evasive ability and bonus. This Boros is not looking to convoke, so Flight of the Equinauts as an expensive card doesn't make any sense in this type of deck. Even though we could use more excellent 2-drops, and Fresh Face Recruit is an excellent 2-drop, Sky Knight Legionnaire just has that haste and evasion that we need right away to start dealing damage to the opponent. And we're looking to be very aggressive, and the opponent is looking to be more defensive, stalling out our stuff, trying to use removal cards to kill our stuff, and just having a lot of 2/2 flyers is really difficult for them to deal with. So let's take it here. Right, now let's, I guess Barging Sergeant can be an okay 5-drop. The 2 toughness can be kind of bad, I guess, but the fact that it has haste can be pretty nice. Can give a mentor trigger to a flyer and catch the opponent off guard. Wouldn't mind Take Heart as a combat trick, but you know, it's not a huge priority. I prefer Sure Strike definitely over Take Heart because the first strike is much more relevant. But I wouldn't mind one of these. You do, if you know how to play this card, it does find some really nice, put some really nice blocks in your favor, and you can take on an opponent with it. Definitely a good card I don't mind taking here. So now do I prefer a Barging Sergeant over the second Intrusive Pack Beast? Maybe. I mean, I can speculate on it and see how it works. If it's not that great, I can just side in for a second Intrusive Pack Beast, and I don't mind another 5-drop, to be honest. We do want to play a very low curve, but 2 5-drops isn't that bad in a 16 land deck. So, yeah, let's take it here. Another Barging Sergeant. Don't think I'm ever playing 2, but there's nothing else in this pack. Hopefully we never play Fearless Halberdier, just pretty bad in general. So we can take an uncommon for the gems here. Take Heart I wouldn't mind. There's Righteous Blow, but we have one already. I think I'm fine taking the Take Heart. Candlelight Vigil is not a good card in general, like 2 toughness. Give a creature, it's 4 mana, which is really expensive in an aggro deck. The +2 toughness is not that relevant, and they can easily just kill off your creature when this is about to resolve, or when this has already resolved. So you spend a lot of mana and you lose both cards for just maybe 1. There's a lot of removal in the set, like Deadly Visit, Artful Takedown, Capture Sphere, Luminous Spawns that makes enchantments pretty bad in this deck, in this format. So yeah, liking a Take Heart here. Another interaction spell. Now I guess maybe I can speculate on the Hammer Dropper as a cheap 4-drop. The 2 toughness is kind of bad, like Barging Sergeant. Doesn't have haste either, but maybe we can clear a path, put out a Hammer Dropper, force the opponent to trade into it, because this is dealing a lot of damage, and it can mentor into one of our flyers. So maybe we end up playing one, but I would prefer a Rebel Bell board, to be honest. But we'll take it here. Now with my Maniacal Rage as a way to potentially put on Healer Hawks or our mentor creatures, so they can start mentoring on to other smaller stuff. And I'm happy main decking 1, don't need 2 of them. Don't think I'm ever playing Street Riot, just 5 mana is really bad, giving creatures +1/+0 is pretty slow. Maybe Selesnya Guildgate in case we open up Tristani or some other Selesnya Bomb that we can end up splashing. And a Boros Guildgate I wouldn't mind over the Hunted Witness. Hunted Witness is a pretty bad card. It is a nice mentor target at 1 toughness, but it's pretty lackluster unless there is a counter on it, and at the end of the day it's just going to be a 2-mana 2/2 which can easily get blocked. So like the Boros, our first Boros skill gate here, just trying to fix our mana so we can end up casting Sky Knight Legionnaire on curve much more easily. So let's take it here. Now I wouldn't mind a Sworn Companions, not the best card in this type of deck because you're looking to be super aggressive. It's more of a card you want to convoke out in Selesnya, put 2/1/1 bodies. So it's definitely a Selesnya flavored card, same with Ladev Guardian. But yeah, I don't think I'm choosing anything else over here, so let's put it in the sideboard. Maybe we play Goblin's Locksmith in case we don't have any good 2-drops. It's worse than the 10th District Veteran, so definitely put it on the sideboard. Floris Halberdier, maybe. Alright, so looking at the final pack, what do we need? We do need a little bit more work on the 2-drop slot. We do need more excellent 2-drops. Some Healer's Hawks as 1-drop. We could use one more removal spell. Maybe one more combat trick. But our Curve Toppers are looking nice. We need to just fill out the 2 and 3 drop slot, and we're going to have a pretty solid Boros deck going. So let's move on. Anything Boros? Well, I wouldn't mind a Goblin Crater Maker as a really powerful 2-drop. Pick one, pack one's obviously the Quasi Duplicate, which is incredibly powerful. But yeah, I don't think I can take anything over Goblin Crater Maker here. There's also Part Healing Patrol as a serviceable 4-drop that can mentor into 1 toughness creatures. But Goblin Crater Maker is pretty nice, you know. 2 mana, and then you can pay 1 to clear path by killing off a target creature and destroying a target colorless non-land permanent. Don't think that the second ability is too relevant, but the first ability is really nice, just to maybe clear a path for our attackers. Just a 2-mana 2/2 that you can play out onto. Pretty good card here. Going to take it. Okay, don't think I can say no to a Legion Guildmage. Wouldn't mind another Sky Knight Legionnaire or a Skyland Scout as an excellent 2-drop, but Legionnaire can definitely do some work in the late game, especially just paying 6 mana per turn to drain the opponent for 3. The 3 mana ability is relevant, tapping another target creature to get in for a bunch of damage. Ooh, there's also Healer's Hawk, that's a great consideration, so definitely a great pack for us. The real question is, what do we really need, honestly? Our 2s, we could use a little bit more 2-drops. We could use just take the Healer's Hawk, of course. Excellent mentor card for Sunhome Stalwart and Boros Challenger, of course. And our Skylight Legionnaire is serviceable, but I think we want to focus on our true drops a little bit more. So I think it's just between these 3 cards, to be honest. Legionnaire is more of a late game mana sink. Boros is looking to curve out with little to no mana, but if you manage to do 2 flat out, Legion Guildmage definitely is an excellent payoff card. Healer's Hawk can start getting in for 1 damage lifelink right away, which is incredibly powerful. I think I prefer maybe the Healer's Hawk over the Skyline Scout, just as a constant flyer that you don't need to pay mana for, but Skyline Scout is pretty nice as well. Double Skyline Legionnaire can put up some good pressure on 3 already that maybe you don't need another one. So it's either just between Healer's Hawk and Legion Guildmage. Given that we have 2 power mentor creatures on turn 2, I think I might just be leaning towards the Healer's Hawk as another excellent 1-drop that we can mentor into. Also plays well with Maniacal Rage, of course. Can chip in for some life in case I need to get ahead in a race. Legion Guildmage is also a good 2-drop, but the abilities that it uses are more like late game spell, like late game abilities, like 6 mana is a lot, so you're not going to use this too often in aggressive attack when your main goal is just to curve out with creatures and kill them. You're also going 16 lands, so it might be a little bit difficult getting up to 6 mana. The 3 mana is really nice though, but it's still quite a huge mana sink. So I think the more reasonable choice here is just a Healer's Hawk. Excellent 1-drop that we can mentor into. I think it makes more sense over the rest of these other 2-drops. So, let's take it here. Ooh, okay. Well, I can't say no to True Fire Captain. This card's pretty busted in Boros. I mean, come on, like a 4-mana 4/3 with 4 power that can easily mentor into anything, and whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player. So if the opponent blocks it with a high powered creature, then they're going to take all the damage that the high powered creature did to this True Fire Captain, and it can pretty much mentor into anything in our deck. So yeah, a pretty busted card in Boros, no doubt. Pretty scary card to see exactly on turn 4. Not going to say no to it. There's a Ledev champion which we can splash for, but it's not bomb. It's a really good card, definitely, but But we only have like one Selesnya Guildgate, and it's getting late in this pack, and I don't want to prioritize Selesnya Guildgates over solid 2-drops that might be passed up. I think the card here is just Fire Urgent, even though this card is more Izzet flavored due to the fact that it has that text telling it that whenever it casts instant or sorcery, it gets pumped by +1. It's actually, I think it's better in Boros, being 1 toughness, 1 power, and it can easily get mentored easily onto by these by Sunhome Stalwart and Boros Challenger and other mentor creatures. So it's actually a more Boros flavored card, believe it or not. And even in Izzet, it's kind of bad because, you know, just casting 1, making this a 2/3 that tramples a bit, it still gets easily blocked. You would need to cast 2 spells, I guess, to at least make this into a 3/2 trampler, which is okay, but not too exciting. But if you can keep growing this with counters with mentor creatures, and you don't need to necessarily cast instants and sorcery speeds all the time, and this can get up to 3 power, it's definitely pretty scary to deal with, especially if it's permanently at 3 power. So I think I'm happy taking Fire Urgent here as another 2-drop that we can potentially mentor into. Happy seeing our first fresh face recruit, definitely taking it over the Cosmotronic Wave, which can be a fine finisher. An excellent 2-drop with First Strike, pretty scary when it has a counter onto it from, again, our mentor creatures. So happy taking it here. And now what? Wouldn't mind another Rubble Belt Boar. Think we're banning the Selesnya plant. Ooh, actually, never mind. Can't say no to a second Healer's Hawk. Incredibly busted with Maniacal Rage. Incredibly busted with counters. Definitely the pick here. We do have a Rubble Belt Boar already, and again in Boros you want to keep your curve incredibly low with lots of 1 and 2 drops and just overwhelm your opponent and kill them, cheese them out. So Healer's Hawk is definitely an excellent 1-drop, and I guess another Fire Urgent wouldn't be wrong over like Gravitic Punch, which we do have some high power creatures, but this is 4 mana, it's slow. Come on now, we're not doing this. Let's just take the Fire Urgent. Another Fire Urgent. Don't think I'm ever playing 2 of them, but this is pretty much over nothing. None of these gives us gems, so let's just take it for the sideboard. Don't think I'm playing another Barging Sergeant. We have 1 already. I think we're just going to put Book Devourer for gems. Ooh, Skyline Scout. Can't believe this wield. This was in the same pack with the Legion Guildmage and the Sky Knight Legionnaire. You might have to play, even though you pay 2 mana to get this flying, it's really nice as a late game mana sink. Puts on another nice evasive creature. Great with mentor counters on too, so definitely a powerful 2-drop. Alright. So we have a pretty powerful Boros aggro deck. Definitely a scary deck for the opponent to contend with. We have plenty of 2-drops. We're lacking a little bit on 3s, but it should be okay. This is definitely a deck that I'm looking to go 16 lands with due to its incredibly low curve. I think it's still 16 lands over like maybe 15, which could be overkill due to the fact that we still have like stuff like True Fire Captain at 4 mana that we want to cast. So let's look at the mana distribution here. We are slightly favoring whites, so I can just see myself cutting a red, going 9 white, 8 red, and just call it a day. We ended perfectly in a 40 card deck. Take Heart is a card that I don't mind playing. I like these 1-drops. Righteous Blow is cuttable, of course. like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we should have enough 2-drops. I do like the Maniacal Rage with our mentor creatures. I do like the Justice Strike. We don't have too many first strikers, so I guess Righteous Blow can be kind of bad. And, like, we're going to end up 2 for 1-ing ourselves for the most part with a Righteous Blow against a high toughness creature. So maybe we can end up just cutting it and replace it with something else. We didn't pick up too many interaction removal spells, of course, but hopefully our pump spells can make it there. So I think we need to add one more card. I need to count the 2-drops again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So plenty of 2-drops. Not a lot of 3-drops, but we do have some flyers that can get through. So I can see myself cutting a Righteous Blow against 1 higher toughness creatures. They're kind of bad. You end up 2 for 1-ing yourself. Could add another Intrusive Pack Beast. Even though it's a 5-drop, it's still feasible. Don't think it's Sworn Companions. Though, I mean, this could be a fine card to mentor into, believe it or not. Like a bunch of 1/1s. I wouldn't mind. But we do have like double Fire Urchin and double Healer Hawks already and some 1-drops. So maybe it's not that necessary. Overall, what else do we place with Righteous Blow? I don't like the Furious Halberdier. 2 toughness is easily taken out. I could make a case for a 3rd Fire Urchin, of course. But we have 2 already, and maybe having too many is just overkill. So maybe the Righteous Blow can just be okay, to be honest. Color Culprit is more of a sideboard card. Now the question is, do I prefer the Intrusive Pack Beast over the Barging Sergeant? Barging Sergeant can be awkward, especially if the opponent has some low-powered creatures, and it gets traded off, and ends up getting traded off by a 2-drop. But I mean, I guess sometimes it can catch the opponent out of guard. Otherwise, maybe I can just take a second Intrusive Pack Beast, which might be better. How many mentor creatures do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially, and we have lots of targets to mentor onto. So I wouldn't mind a second one, to be honest. But again, the 2 toughness is a bit of a liability, and but you never know if you're going to catch your opponent off guard, and sometimes you have like a flyer and then you end up playing this Barging Sergeant, and you can give a counter to a flyer right away, which seems pretty nice, and then you can start smorking them, so it's debatable, but I think maybe Intrusive Pack Beast has some slightly higher upside because we're looking to get blockers out of the way to smack the opponent. I might be fine diversifying here, honestly. Who knows? But maybe we can just try this out and see. I guess this is the name of our deck with Hammer Dropper as our picture, because we just currently drafted a Boros deck and now we're drafting another one. Let's cut the Barging Sergeant. I think the Intrusive Pack Beast has a lot more upside. Like, the 2 toughness gets traded off really easily. It does get a mentor counter onto a creature, of course. Yeah. And it has haste. Let's diversify. Let's try this out. I might just replace it with an Intrusive Pack Beast if this isn't doing too much work. But yeah, let's do this deck. 16 lands seems fine. Actually, let's look at our curve again. 2 3-drops, 2 5-drops, and yeah, 3 4-drops seems reasonable. Is it 16 or 17 lands? Sorry, I'm just moving back and forth, guys. Bear with me. 15, 16. Yep, makes sense. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so Fire Urchin on 2, Goblin Crater Maker on 2. We can potentially cast the True Fire Captain. It seems decent. We don't have any mentor creatures yet besides this True Fire Captain. But I don't think I can pass up on 2 drops on 2. Maybe we can potentially Maniacal Rage one of them. We'll see. Definitely not going to Maniacal Rage the Goblin Crater Maker because you might be looking to sacrifice this potentially. But yeah, I'm happy leading off with it on 2 if we need to. Or we could just lead off with the Fire Urchin and put the Maniacal Rage onto it. But I think Maniacal Rage might just be better with our flyers. Opponent's also in Boros. I think I'm going to play the 2-drop here. Maybe Goblin Crater Maker just to punch in a little bit more damage in the early game. You could potentially trade off for, I mean, you can potentially use this to kill off a 2/2 flyer as well. So I think we're attacking here. If he uses like Righteous Blow, we can take heart. Don't think I am Maniacal Raging anytime soon. Or we can sacrifice this, but I still want to keep a 2/2 body on the battlefield. So let's play this out. Ooh, I should have played out the Boros Guild Gate, so that was a bit of a misplay. Otherwise, I could have blasted the True Fire Captain the turn after. So hopefully the opponent is nice enough to give us an extra turn. The Death Champion is excellent. I might just kill it off. I might just attack first, believe it or not, and kill it off. Because I'm still fine with a trade. Just to do some damage. And I'm going to play this tap Guild Gate anyways. I could get a Plains next turn, and I might want to play this, but I don't think I want to risk it. I think it's fine here. Okay, and we didn't get, so yeah, let's do an attack. Could, of course, Maniacal Rage. And if the opponent blocks the 1/3, I think I might just use the Take Heart. I could just use the Take Heart now. Yeah, why not? It preserves a creature. I have nothing else to do. It trades pretty well. It pumps the 2/3. We can deal 2 to it. And we can play out the Boros Guild Gate. Next turn we can play out that True Fire Captain. We can also sacrifice this Goblin Crater Maker if he has another annoying creature that we want to remove. Our Healing Patrol, sure. I guess I can block our 2/2. We could play out the Intrusive Pack Beast, but I think I want to set for a True Fire Captain turn here. Where I can potentially just mentor onto the Goblin Crater Maker. Could have a removal spell, of course. And I did play this a little bit late because I accidentally didn't play the tapped land, which is pretty dumb of me. Huge misplay there, so make sure that you play your tapped lands, folks, especially in turns that you don't need to leave up too much mana. Prowl Forgers is pretty annoying, not gonna lie. But now I can Intrusive Pack Beast, tap both of these creatures down, and get in for a whole bunch. And that's obviously the play here. So happy that I picked this up. Definitely looking better than the Barging Sergeant. So I might just end up playing both Intrusive Pack Beasts. So this is looking really powerful. I can mentor onto... I think the Goblin Crater Maker makes sense. Even though this is a creature you want to sacrifice, this can potentially become a 4/4, which is quite scary. Next turn I can attack with everyone. I can even Maniacal Rage the True Fire Captain, making this a 6/5, mentor onto the Intrusive Pack Beast. Another Crawl Forger, sure. So we need to attack past all these cards. So how are we going to do this? We have a Righteous Blow, perhaps. So we could potentially Maniacal Rage the True Fire Captain. Let's try this. Let's Maniacal Rage this. Actually, this is interesting. So if I attack with everyone, what happens? I might just attack with these 3. I will just I can mentor onto the Intrusive Pack Beast, of course. I could just Maniacal Rage the True Fire Captain. He needs to double block. That's going to deal 6 damage to him because he's going to have to deal all this damage to the True Fire Captain. And then I can attack with everything. Mentor onto the Intrusive Pack Beast, which he's definitely going to block. I can leave up a Righteous Blow for something potential here. If he blocks the 1-3, so he's going to double block here. This is going to be a lot of damage. And he's going to block the 4-4. I could just Righteous Blow the Crawl Forgers, so I can get a nice 2-for-1 with the... It's still a 2-for-2, I guess, with the Maniacal Rage, but I still got him. Opponent decides to concede. Yeah, it looks like in that matchup, it looked like Boros Challenger was just... I mean, not Boros Challenger, the Barging Sergeant seems kind of bad because it traded with the Flyer and the other 4-drops, so maybe double Intrusive Pack Beast is powerful, just tapping down other creatures, getting a huge attack and setting up a board. So I think I'm happy with 2 Intrusive Pack Beasts over the Barging Sergeant. And let's continue our draft. Fresh Face Recruit on 2, Healer's Hawk on 1. Don't say I can say no to this. And we also have Skylight Knight Legionnaire as an excellent flyer that can get in. Now, this Healer Hawk can help me outrace this Hunted Witness, so that looks really good. If he attacks, I'm definitely not blocking here, so no. He could have like a Righteous Blow against my 1-1 flyer, but I think I'm fine with this. No 2-drop, so that's surprising. Just going to get in for 1. He could have Righteous Blow, but I don't think there's any way I can play around it, to be honest. Yep. So now we can play, I guess, the Fresh Face Recruit. I guess Goblin Crater Maker makes a better blocker. But I'm fine maybe just taking 1 if he decides to attack, and I can trade 2. And I want to play this maybe in the later game when he plays like a flyer and I can sacrifice this to kill it off. While I'm playing a tapped land. I think I'm just going to play a Sky Knight Legionnaire. Now the question is, do I attack with the Fresh Face Recruit? He's going to get a 1-1 lifelinker, which is pretty annoying. He could have a pump spell, so maybe he's just fine attacking for 2 in the air. And if I top deck my 5th land, I can just easily taking 3 here. Okay, Hammer Dropper seems solid. It's kind of bad with the Rubble Belt Recluse. Don't think I need to play the Goblin Crater Maker anytime soon. Hammer Dropper can just attack next turn, grow the Sky Knight Legionnaire or the Fresh Face Recruit, but definitely looking to grow the flyer. He could have a removal spell for it. Garrison Sergeant is pretty annoying as a 6/6 double striker because he has a gate. Don't think I'm blocking here. I could just block the 1/1. It gives him a lifelinker, but I don't think I care too much. Take Heart looks excellent. I might just use it. And if he blocks with the 5/2 and I take Heart, what happens? I guess they trade. I guess that can be fine. Definitely giving it to the flyer here. Because I need to deal with this double striker. Otherwise it's going to be potentially a really big problem. He could just block the 2/1 and the first strikes will trade, so this seems solid. Happy with this. Ooh, this is first strike? Well, didn't he control a gate? He had double strike, right? I don't know if I understand that interaction too well. But I don't think I'm in any range of lethal, so I can play out everything. Next turn, if I have my 5th land, I can tap everything down and just kill the opponent outright. And the opponent scoops it up. Another boring Boros deck, but hey, that skills a Ravnica for you. Boros the mirror, Boros the mirror, Boros the mirror. Sometimes Selesnya, and I've seen pretty powerful. I've seen some pretty good drafts. Um, like the more professional players that are really good at this game can end up drafting a really powerful bomb, Selesnya and Demir. I mean, not really bomb, but still a really decent Selesnya or Golgari deck. And they can get to 7 wins pretty nicely, and they play very well. But Boros is definitely something that's quite oppressive in this set. Izzet is also pretty solid too, but it's not as crazy as like Boros in terms of aggression. Boros just has so many powerful 2-drops and evasive creatures and mentor that it's incredibly hard to deal with, especially with all the combat tricks and spells. So if I'm ever drafting this set, I'm always leaning either toward Demir or Boros, because they have all the powerful creature and removal spells that you need. Especially Demir. Demir has so much powerful removal. But yeah, pretty fun set. First set I've ever played. Bunch of 2-drops. This is definitely what we're keeping here. And we have both colors, so. And I'm fine leading off a fresh face recruit. There's a hard poisoner, but the first striker attacks past it, so that seems pretty nice. If we can get to turn 3, we can play out the Goblin Crater Maker, potentially sacrifice it to take out this hard poisoner. But pretty nice having a 2-1 first striker overall. Not blocking here, I don't think is a reasonable trade. I'm definitely attacking in for 2. Could put another blocker. I guess Iron Shell Beetle is a bit obnoxious, but I can still attack past it. I have a 3rd land, so I can potentially play out the Goblin Crater Maker, leave up mana to potentially blow something up with it. Seems solid. I could block the 1-1, use the ability, and destroy the 2-2. I can do that right now. I could just block the 2-2 and sacrifice it and kill off the 1-1. Don't know why the opponent's being aggressive. We're the more aggressive controlling deck. So, I mean, I guess I can still do it now. Maybe killing off the Death Toucher is much more important. Yeah. I think we can do this. Prevent some damage, take out the Death Toucher, and then Hitchclaw Recluse. I'm happy using my Sure Strike on that. Let's move to attacks. I could just play out the Rubble Belt War, of course, so that was a bit of a misclick. But this is okay. Sure Strike to get this out of the way. It's a pretty annoying blocker. And now the Vernai Shieldmate as a decent 2-drop follow-up. Next turn I can just... Yeah, the Rubble Belt Boar is definitely the better play here. Definitely not blocking a 2-2. Especially if I'm playing the more aggressive deck. Barson Bats, okay. But still think I'm playing the Rubble Belt Boar here. I'm going to definitely pump up the Fresh Face Recruit. Offer to trade with the 2-2 Vigilance. Because this has a lot more power and has evasion. And definitely trading a 2-2 for it is much better. Now the Street Re can block this 2-2 pretty nicely. If he plays another creature and I top deck a land, Intrusive Pack Beast is going to get in for a bunch. Playcrafter, sure. Shieldmate is probably the one that has to go because it doesn't have first strike. Do I play out the Pack Beast? Yeah, I think it's solid. Get in for 5. Could wait on this, but I think 5 damage is a lot. So if he attacks with a 3-2, I'm probably not blocking. Probably not. He does have a flyer in the air, but I think I can attack past all this, whatever he plays next. Ruler Rat, okay, sure. Those are my 1-1. This is lethal, so he does need a removal spell, otherwise he's in trouble. Severed Strand, sure. But I still think, or Alright, Skyline Scout's looking great. I think I'm still attacking with everything. If he attacks with both creatures next turn, I don't think I'm blocking. I mean, I could potentially block the 3-2. But I think he's going to keep everything back now. And do I just attack? Yeah, probably. And I think I'm giving this flying. Just so the 3-1 can't trade off for it. Opponent might just be running out of creatures. You could play like something like a Rhizome Lurcher next turn, which can be problematic. But I have the opponent at 1, so any other second creature. Charnel Troll, okay, so that's pretty scary. And a Take Heart. I think I'm going to attack into it. Hopefully he doesn't have a creature card in hand. I think this is worth using the combat trick on. Please no creature. Please no creature. Okay, that's excellent. He has no creature spells. Combat tricks are really good with this card, of course. Okay. The 6/4 is pretty annoying. So I do need a second creature to... Okay, Maniacal Rage seems nice. Making a creature a 4/4 and has first strike, so he's forced to chump at 1 life. So I'm definitely outvaluing him with this first striker here. Opponent does have a really strong Golgari deck, but I'm happy that I managed to pummel him. So yeah, Fresh Face Recruit is an excellent 2-drop. Make sure you pick up 2 or more copies in your Boros deck and get some Mentor onto them and combine them with combat tricks, and you can punch through pretty much anything for free. So let's move on. Okay, Fresh Face Recruit on 2, Far Urchin on 2, no Mentor creatures, but again, really can't pass up these 2 drops. And 16 lands is doing really nice for this deck. So let's leave a Plains. He's already saying your go. Well, I guess I can mute him. It's pretty rude. And Fresh Face Recruit on 2, and then we can play out the Sky Knight Legionnaire attacking for 4. Let's emote him back. So I can play a 1-drop, perhaps Justice Strike, but I think I like the Sky Knight Legionnaire. Start chipping away at the opponent. Makes sense here. Also really mana efficient play. And I can Justice Strike whatever he puts up. He still needs 6 mana for this. He could just use... Okay, so Justice Strike looks excellent on the Deathkarn Dissident. Probably just going to fire it off here next turn. Could just, of course, Maniacal Rage. But I think I like the Justice Strike here, followed up by the 1-drop. Just to get this out of the way. Could Maniacal Rage, of course, the Flyer. Maybe that's decent. To deal with any other bigger creature that might get in the way. I can Maniacal Rage the Flyer, play the Goblin Banneret. I can Maniacal Rage the Fresh Face Recruit. So that seems kind of solid. Maybe the Justice Strike is just the right play here. So you could have Righteous Blow, so doesn't have anything. So now Goblin Banneret is pretty scary. I can potentially Sworn Companions. So that has a nice block on the Goblin Banneret. So now what? I could trade off the Goblin Banneret. I could just Maniacal Rage onto it, but then he's going to triple block. The first strike, he can double block the Fresh Face Recruit, of course. But I guess a Maniacal Rage can be pretty nice, since it's going to be a hard creature for him to get past. I could just develop a 2-drop, of course. Maybe just a Fire Urchin can be fine. If I'm Maniacal Rage to Sky Knight Legionnaire, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. But I think the Fire Urchin as a blocker is pretty nice, just in case he wants to attack. Don't think I'm attacking a Fresh Face Recruit, because he can just triple block. Could fire off his removal spell now on the flyer. Sure, Luminous Bonds. So luckily we didn't cast that Maniacal Rage ASAP. So now what? I can play land. I can cast a Maniacal Rage here. I could just attack with all and see what happens. Could just Maniacal Rage on the Goblin Banneret, of course. And then Mentor onto the Fresh Face Recruit. I think this is fine. So we can make this good attack. He could triple double block my Fire Urchin, but I'll just Sure Strike, I guess, to punch past the 1/1s. This is pretty difficult for my opponent to deal with. He didn't have Righteous Blow. So, right, so I guess I'm pumping here just to do even more damage. Well, I guess now he has a combat trick, sure. Alright, that's fine. This is still a lot of damage. And the opponent still needs to keep behind blockers, so. Conclave Tribunal is annoying. So I guess I can just allow that to resolve. Next turn I could just attack with a Rebel Belt Boar for a triple block, and I think that can be fine. Yeah, let's do it. He could just chump, but I think it's fine just attacking here for 3. He could just triple block, that's fine. Just get all these creatures out of the way, and I can start attacking him for 3. Well, this has trample. I think he forgot about that, and I forgot about that too, so pretty nice attacking with everything next turn. Maybe Sure Strike and trample my way through the opponent. Or Healing Patrol, sure. Let's attack. And the Sure Strike looks incredibly powerful. He got rid of Might of the Masses already, and he didn't seem to have Righteous Blow or anything, so this is going to be pretty scary for the opponent. I like emoting my opponents, the rude ones especially. Especially in the beginning of the game when they just say, your go. They're just really impatient. Right, good game. This is how you build a Boros deck, guys. Now you can make the opponent rage quit and concede. Sure, your go. Alright, pretty busted Boros deck. Now we're currently 4-0, so we can definitely get there to 7 wins. Let's just keep it up. Alright, we don't have... I think this is a hand I can mulligan. Even though I have Healer's Hawk on one and I'm on the draw, if I don't get any white land, that can be a problem. The 4-drops are quite expensive, intrusive back beast. Not a lot of good 2-drops, so I'm fine mulliganing this and we're on the draw. Now I'm fine keeping this. What do we bottom? Could just be intrusive pack beast. We do have another one in the deck already. I think that can be fine. I think it's a little bit greedy, bottoming a land and keeping a 5-drop and a 4-drop, so this seems decent. Hopefully we don't flood out. Opponent's also playing Boros. Ornery Goblin's really nice. So I guess I can just play the Mountain, play out Goblin Crater Maker, say go. Now the question is, do I Maniacal Rage onto this to punch in for 4? Seems kind of bad since I'm looking at this target as a means to sacrifice to deal with a potential flyer or a combat trick that the opponent might have. So I guess I could still just attack and play it slow. Trade 2 for 2 for now. Well, the Blade Instructor is something I definitely want to get rid of before it gets a Mentor trigger onto something, so I think I might just be fine attacking here. If he wants to trade, that's fine. And then I think I'm just going to use it right away. I could use it on his upkeep, but it's much more scarier keeping this card around because it's just going to start mentoring onto this Ornery Goblin. Well, Hammer Dropper is a pretty bad 4-drop, being a 5-2 that gets blocked easily by the Ornery Goblin, but hopefully we can attach a Maniacal Rage onto this. And we did miss out on some 2-drops, so it loses a lot more value since we don't really have a lot on board. Well, Goblin Banneret seems great, but I think the mana efficient play is just a Hammer Dropper here. Don't think I'm blocking with any of this, so if he attacks with both, I'm definitely going to send in the 5 damage. Could, of course, Maniacal Rage, but the opponent could just have pretty good double blocks against me. Could have a combat trick. This is our first bad game, I guess. Do I block? Probably not. I think I'm fine trading 3 for 5. I'm slightly behind right now, but I think this is okay. He could be holding up something like Justice Strike. Do I just attack? He could have Maniacal Rage. I mean, he could have like Righteous Blow, so maybe I play around it a bit. I can still play 2-drop into 1-drop. So let's try this out. I'm fine maybe getting in for 7. And he could just have like a Justice Strike. So this dodges Righteous Blow pretty nicely. He doesn't have any untapped tricks. 7 damage is a lot. I can play a 1-drop and a 2-drop to follow up. And now these can start getting mentored onto. Especially this Vernati Shieldmate. A 7-4 attacking it in is no joke. I think he's holding up a Righteous Blow. Well, the opponent just concedes. I guess he has a hard time dealing with the 7-4. He could potentially double block it, but I can start pumping the 1-drop and growing our 2-drop. So another solid, clean victory there. Well, currently 5-0, so Boros is definitely busted in Guilds of Ravnica. Not gonna lie. And this deck doesn't really have any bombs. I guess the closest thing to a bomb is like a turn 1 Healer's Hawk into a turn 2 like Sunhome Stalwart and Boros Challenger, which we haven't drawn yet. True Fire Captain can be considered a bomb. We played that once, but we haven't played any like Sunhome Stalwarts or Boros Challengers yet. So I'm really surprised how we're just playing some okay 2-drops and still getting in ahead. So pretty impressed so far. Alright, so we're looking 2-drop into True Fire Captain with a tap land. Definitely a good solid hand. Let's play out the Boros Guildgate as they go. Alright, and I think we can start out with, maybe just a first striker. Does Boros, I guess Boros Challenger can potentially dodge a, what's that card? The Deadweight, while these would die from it. So maybe I just lead with a Boros Challenger. Yeah, I don't think anything he can potentially block with anything at 2. I guess he can, maybe with a Pass Wall Adept, but it would block pretty much anything else that I play. Thought Erasure, he's going to take away the True Fire Captain. I couldn't imagine anything else. Next turn, I think I might just play out the Fresh Face Recruit. In case I top deck a land on turn 4, I can activate this, give my 2-1 a Mentor counter, and that can be really nice. So the pick here has to be the True Fire Captain. I can't imagine anything else. This card is just really scary for anyone to deal with. Now I have a Take Heart, but maybe so maybe the Fire Urchin can be the play here because it's easier to mentor into with the Boros Challenger. I could get punished if I get a land drop, of course, and this Fresh Face Recruit can become a 3/2 first striker. But I think I'm willing to play the safe bet here. Attack in with the Boros Challenger, and I can still mentor onto this next turn, even if I top deck a land. So opponent's on playing the Dimir. I don't think he has any good attacks. Next turn I can attack with both. Mentor onto the Fire Urchin, which seems really powerful, which I'm just going to do right now. I can play a 2-drop. This is a nice first striker which can potentially get past this 2/2 unless he wants to pump, but that's going to require him 2 mana, which could potentially use up a creature or his whole entire turn. I guess Skyline Scout can also be pretty solid as a way to fly through if I have no good attacks in next turn and he plays like a high toughness creature. I can't imagine any as a 4-drop. But I guess he could still pump the Veil Shade with this Fresh Face Recruit. Let's play the Skyline Scout. I wouldn't mind mentoring onto this card as well. I could, of course, main phase the Take Heart and attack in with everything next turn and mentor onto this 2/1. So he's definitely keeping up mana to pump the Veil Shade to prevent any damage from going through. He could have Artful Takedown, so maybe activating Take Heart main phase isn't as great. He knows about my Justice Strike, so maybe I can just develop a 2-drop perhaps. Maybe I just attack with everything here, and if he wants to pump and use the Shade, I can just use Take Heart or Justice Strike. I think that's reasonable. He could have something else, but I think this is pretty solid. Don't think I need to mentor of anything because I just want to play a 2-drop. I could fly over, but I don't think that's necessary because he only has 1 blocker and I'm getting in for 4 damage anyways. So let's see. If he blocks the 2/4, let's see what happens. I can punish him with a Justice Strike if he decides to pump. Or I can just take Heart, which I might use instead of Justice Strike, just because this seems like a more powerful removal spell. Yeah, let's fire this away. I still have Justice Strike up in case he uses other shenanigans. I could main phase this, but I wanted to keep it up as a trick. So this looks really nice. And I think a 2-drop here is solid here. Maybe just a Fresh Face Recruit. Or Fire Urchin can be mentored onto, so maybe just a Fire Urchin. And with the instant speed spell, I can also pump them as well, and they have trample, so I can get in for those extra points of damage. Justice Strike looks really powerful here. The question is, do I want to trade off my Boros Challenger for it? Maybe I can take my time and start getting in for 2 in the air. If I attack with everything, what happens? Opponent's going to take 6, Boros Challenger dies. But I think that's reasonable, just to increase the clock. And I think I'm just gonna decline the flying. So if he blocks the Boros Challenger, I can just Justice Strike it and then follow up with a 2-2. And with the Justice Strike, I can pump these Fire Urchins, which seems really nice. So definitely a powerful Boros card overall. Opponent is at 1. I could play around a removal spell, a board wipe like Ritual of Soot, but with these at 4 toughness, that's already too late. Alright, alright, so I guess we can save our screenshot here. Let's save it. Sorry for the noise. Boros Boring. That's the name of it. Let's save a screenshot of this deck because we're currently at 6-0. Actually, let's move the interaction spells to the side. I do like double Fire Urchin in Boros. It has been quite powerful given that they have trample and they synergize well with our removal spells, and they're easy creatures to get mentor counters onto. So overall, our deck is looking like this. Boring Boros Boring. Boring Boros, I guess that's a better name. And we're currently 6-1. Maybe we can get our nice 7-1 aggro deck, and that's how you usually tend to get those 7 wins in limited. 7-0s, that is, just playing a bunch of aggro decks. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, can't say no to turn 1's Healer's Hawk and then Fire Urchin, and then we can pick up our mentor creatures later, which can grow this Hawk. Hammer Dropper at 4 is decent as well. Don't like the 2 toughness, but it's serviceable when you need it. And if you can put a Maniacal Rage, this can be kind of scary, like in one of our games. But other than that, overall, pretty good keep. So let's keep it. We're on the draw, so we're a little bit slowed down, but definitely we can get there. Opponents in white, looking to play maybe Boros or Selesnya. So now we have Fire Urchin to block this Hazda Marshal, so this is not a good card. Gets blocked pretty easily, even though this has a decent ability of creating a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. I don't think it's that relevant. Opponent can have a Righteous Blow. If I top deck a Maniacal Rage, I think I might just attach it onto this Healer's Hawk. But not going to say no to a 2-drop here. Well, he doesn't have Righteous Blow, so I guess we can outrace him with the lifelink and the Flyer in the air. So now 1/3 is blocking the 1/1 really nicely. We can attack with both next turn. Could have a pump spell, I guess, to get past this 1/3 in case I block, and I might just take it. Well, I guess the Sky Knight Legionnaire is going to chip in for 2. I guess he might keep it back, I guess, just as a way to block this 1/1 flyer, and that's reasonable. Now we have Boros Challenger. I think I'm just going to play out the Boros Challenger, to be honest, just to eventually pump this next turn, pump our Healer's Hawk, and get in for, or I can just attack with the ground creatures, of course, and pump the Boros Challenger in case he does like a triple block. Could have like a Sure Strike that I need to be potentially aware of. We'll see what the opponent does here. I might be smelling a combat trick if he does so. We could just maybe skip all our turn of attacking and just play the hammer dropper. If I mentor onto the healer's hawk, he most likely is just going to block the healer's hawk. Or just block the Boros challenger, use a combat trick and do a trade. Maybe sure strike, and then the turn after he can just block the healer's hawk. Okay, I think I'm fine having him use the Rebel Belt Boar. Seems pretty solid here. Don't think I'm blocking this. No, it's no good blocks here. I have Intrusive Pack Beast coming up at 5, which can be pretty solid. I could just attack here, but then he can double block my 3/3. Maybe Hammer Dropper is just a better play, and I can mentor on the Boros Challenger next turn, and then mentor on the Healer's Hawk. Like this will become a 4/5 with the Hammer Dropper in play, and then this can pump the Healer's Hawk, or I can dump both my counters onto this Healer's Hawk. He can just block the Boros Challenger, I guess. So he's going to do this attack here. I think I'm fine blocking with the 1/3, I guess, on the Haas Marshal, so he can't get a triple attack in the future, and make more 1/1 shump blockers. So I think I'm fine potentially putting the 1/3 here. You could have a pump spell, but that's okay. I'd rather lose this 1/3 over anything else in this. So now what's next turn? He could just play a creature. I can Intrusive Back Beast, make a giant life linker at 3, and get off some nice attacks. So let's top deck a land, please. Guess he's just trying to chip away damage because my creatures overall are just higher quality than his. Okay, nothing. So I think it's a good turn to just cast Intrusive Back Beast. But he doesn't really have any blockers. I don't think there's any untapped tricks in this set. So I could, but this is annoying 1/1 blocker, and maybe just resolving a 5-drop is better. Yeah, let's go do it. I can block this 1/1. He could keep up a combat trick, so that's really nice. It also has lifelink, so if he does use a lifelink trick with this 1/1, it's potentially threatening. Now I can do some pretty decent attacks here. So I might just make a giant Healer's Hawk, to be honest. I actually should have done that. Well, I think I can do both of them. So his Healer's Hawk is going to be ginormous. I'm going to gain a bunch of life. There's no untapped tricks in this set, so I don't really need to care about anything. Alright, so now I'm out racing the opponent with this Healer's Hawk. I think I'm blocking the 3/3 here. Could be fine. Or is this just a desperate attack to get in for lethal? Yeah, let's trade off the 3/3. I'm fine if he uses the healing pump trick here. And next turn is just lethal, I guess. We should have enough damage to kill him. If he plays the blocker, we have another Intrusive Pack Beast as a follow-up. So opponent is, yeah, Ledev Guardian, sure. Alright, good game. Nice 7 win, guys. Intrusive Pack Beast definitely doing a lot more work than the Barging Sergeant, so I think I prefer this 5-drop over it. So pretty clean, sweet 7-0. Not too shabby. Boros aggro is busted. Let's take a screenshot. Alright, now we're going to claim our prize. Maybe do a draft with the mini packs that we pick up. Really nice, 950 gems. 2 packs, and let's see, pack 1, pick 1. Affectionate Indrake is excellent in green, but maybe Expansion Explosion is just better, but it does commit me to Is It. which again, in this Guild's Ravnica and Ravnica Allegiance, I don't mind forcing myself into 2 colors right away, because the 2 color pairings are more defined, and you can't make, and you can't play something like black, white, for example, or red, green in this set, unlike Ravnica Allegiance. So yeah, it's either Expansion Explosion or Affectionate Indrake. Both of these cards are excellent. Um, if you can get to enough mana, Explosion can just draw you a bunch of cards, which can kill a creature and outvalue the opponent. Even um, ex expansion half of it is pretty nice if you can copy a spell. So quite a flexible, powerful card overall. So yep. What's in the next pack? All right, lag. Um, Now the question is, do I want this stuff for an aggressive deck? Goblin Banneret is an excellent 1-drop. I can see this being okay in aggressive Izzet, but it definitely is a card you want to force into Boros if you're moving to that route. I think it definitely overperformed in our drafts that I've shown. Deadweight is an excellent removal spell for 1 mana, pretty flexible. Wodrick Bodyguard is again another Boros flavor card. That can be fine in aggro Izzet, but both of these cards I'm looking to lean towards Boros. But yeah, I wouldn't mind a deadweight pick 1 pack 1. So yep, another nice Boros victory. Guilds of Ravnica. Going to upload more videos in the future, but for now, enjoy the 7-0 draft. Have a great day, guys.